Welcome to Chewer, the Left Side Brain podcast. I'm Ollie Jewiden, left side guitar and sometimes vocals in LSB. And with me, as always, are Gareth Jones, right side guitar and vocals.
Hello.
Rich Sadler, bass and vocals.
Hi there.
And Ryan Brooks, drums.
Hello.
Also with us for this episode 6 is a very special guest, someone already mentioned numerous times in the first 5 episodes, one of our oldest friends in music, known to many people as Oxygen Thief and or Non-Canon. A very warm, chewery welcome to Barry Dolan.
Woohoo.
Hello.
Yay. Bye, Barry.
Welcome aboard. This will be fun.
Yeah, been looking forward to it.
Very quickly, I guess, for anyone who's listening and wondering, this episode will be very similar to standard episodes in terms of format. We've just got an extra helper with us. So episode 5, greatest guitar solos of all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine. How do we feel about that now, looking back? Barry, I'll bring you in first, actually, because I know you've got some comments and thoughts on guitar solos in general.
Yeah, I mean, it won't surprise most of you, and particularly G, after spending a lot of time in the practice room, but I'm not really a guitar soloist kind of guy. I'm the kind of person that spent their teenage life kind of obsessing over the Manics and basically not noticing that James Dean Bradfield was shredding constantly because I was just so, obsessed with the words. And yeah, similar with like Queen and Radiohead to some extent as well. It's like the sort of song and the lyrics were so like, I was so obsessed with them that it's like, oh, what? There are what?
You didn't notice the guitar solos in Queen?
I mean, I did, but that wasn't my favourite thing of it, It wasn't like that was what I was obsessed with. It was like that was there, but it wasn't like my main sort of interest in it all.
I would say that Queen guitar solos are pieces of music. They're not a typical sort of just showing off shredded guitar solos. He writes pieces of music. So I think it's forgivable to see them as part of the overall rather than a standout thing.
It's very big of you. Yeah.
That's incredibly forgiving.
No, but you know what I mean? They're written as part of the music, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're not just a shredder coming in to show off his chops.
Yeah, I suppose that's I mean, it's not. It isn't like the sort of stand up and show off kind of thing in the same way. And I think that's sort of what I don't like a lot. I like. I mean, I have been thinking about it and found some that I do like and do enjoy every time they come up. Like Faster by the Manics. There's a really fun one in that. A couple of Radiohead ones like Just and Paranoid Android. But a lot of the time I just sort of think, yeah, fine, you're really good at this. Whatever, move on. They're not. Do you know what I mean? They're a bit superfluous sometimes, in my sort of humble opinion.
Yeah.
And like it just, I mean, as a guitarist, I like to sort of muck about and enjoy myself and jump around or whatever. So where it just seems like, oh, you need to stand really still and concentrate for ages on that, it just sort of turns me off a bit because I think I just imagine myself playing stuff and think I wouldn't be able to do that, and B, I wouldn't enjoy it. So I like kind of weird, noisy ones and Kurt Cobain type feedback and mess.
Barry, this sounds like what you're saying is that which one of the categories was this as?
I'm
just
going
there.
I think he's in the anti.
Either Blue Murder or Anti-Virtuoso.
Thank you for remembering this.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I wrote them down in my little book. They're important.
And let me just remind you that those are my 2 favourites as well, along with a bit of Badass.
It's not that he doesn't like guitar solos. It's just that they are the categories of guitar solo that you enjoy.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
I'm so chuffed you've really embraced this categorization method. I innovated.
Are we going to do our favourite guitar solos one day?
Another episode, sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've got one other thought. Can I share something as well? I had another listen to the episode, and I listened to all our kind of definitions of what guitar solos meant to us and could and should be in songs. And now I listened to us describing what we thought of all the guitar solos. We all set out that a guitar solo should earn its spot in the song and be part of telling the story, and be and not be there for its own sake. Which then made me think that Eruption, Maggot Brain, and the Jimi Hendrix one all fell out of that altogether for me. Because I think for me, what I enjoy in a guitar solo is it being there it's after a verse and a chorus, let rip, get out, back to the song, rather than it be the song, I think. And I think maybe I was too kind on some of the others based on my own definition.
Well, it's just a different thing, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. And I heard what's the Eddie Van Halen, Michael Jackson song. Heard that on the weekend, and that solo is absolutely Beat It. Thank you. Is absolutely ripping, and kind of felt like it meant more because it was in the midst of some wicked song to me.
It's another classic. That must have been up there somewhere as well, right?
Yeah, and it's probably 10 more plus years after Eruption, right? So it does hold a different spot in the history of all things. But those are my thoughts.
Did Michael Jackson have a history of dropping in like over the top virtuoso shredders?
Slash was on a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, Slash played with him a few times.
Didn't he play on like all of his last 5 albums or something? Slash.
I don't know if it was that much, but he certainly he'd pop up with him at awards ceremony performances and stuff like that quite often, wouldn't he? I think.
I read recently that whenever it was he first played on one of his records, he played on every album after that.
Oh, right.
So are we saying that in terms of if we're saying it excuses a guitar solo if it's a pre-orchestrated piece of music that's been written, does the same thing count for Purple Rain? Did he tab that one out before he played it?
I don't think that's what we're saying there, is it? I think, and we discussed this before we even started, didn't we? With the ones that are actually lengthy pieces of guitar music rather than an in and out thing, whether they should actually be included in this.
And that solo is solo in the mix. Until it was in that chart, I don't think I knew there was a guitar solo in that song.
It was definitely beaten for me by that one from Word Up Live by Canon. I'm still laughing thinking about this. That's amazing.
Barry, just on before we move away from the top 10, are there any in that top 10, the Rolling Stone top 10, that you were particularly aware of beforehand and were a fan of, or was it they're all completely sort of out of your?
The Hotel California one was one that was the very brief foray into learning lead guitar when I was a teenager. My guitar teacher, bless him, painstakingly tabbed that out for me, or like taught me bit by bit, and that stuck in. A bit of that is still in there, and that is great. I mean, it goes on for ages, and it's the two of them dueling together, and it's definitely part of that song, isn't it? It's I do love that one, and I think that the context of learning it at that, or trying to learn it at that very sort of impressionable age, and getting to the end of it and being like, no more of that. It's been I don't know. I enjoyed it, and I'm fond of it, but it's for some reason I never really kind of went, I'm gonna dedicate a lot of time to this.
Fair enough.
There's still time.
There's still time.
We should mention, for those who didn't see the Facebook and Instagram post, we had originally put clips of all the solos in the last episode, as well as some other bits and pieces we talked about. But unfortunately, Spotify, who are our podcast publishing platform, took it down without any warning. So the only safe way for us to get it back online was just to remove all clips. So I'm afraid we had to do that.
You weren't tempted to re-record it with just like Gareth just singing them?
Yeah, happily. Yeah.
Well, why don't you have a go at Purple Rain now, Gareth, and we'll see if you pass the audition.
I can't. Do you know what? I can't even remember it. That's probably a damning indictment enough, isn't it? There was lots of and then rubbish.
You're going to end up with another warning from Spotify, but this time it's sexual content, I think.
All right. Time for some correspondence. Let's fire up the new jingle.
Mail.
All right. We've only got 2 quick bits of correspondence this week.
Lovely.
The first is from our old pal, Mike Heffron, who we've heard from a couple of times.
Hi, Mike.
This is in response to the Exile on Main Street episode.
I made him listen to the album before the episode.
Oh, did you? So this is a summary of the album, having listened to it in tandem with our episode. He said, message 1, it's awful. Message 2, I do like some of this type of music, and this is lazy and drug-fueled self-indulgence.
Nailed it.
Executed poorly.
Hey.
On Main Street.
And the fourth message, fourth message. I'm worried it's going to pollute my Spotify.
Yep.
It's a weird one. I'd listened to it after listening to the podcast, and a lot of it just kind of bounced off my brain. I think I had it on in the background while I was working, and I went for a walk and stuff. And it's like you said, it's really long. There's loads of it, but also I've sort of had this a bit while I was listening to all of Bowie's back catalogue, and sort of albums. I don't know. Back in the day, a lot of them didn't really have much of a sort of shape to them. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of older albums, just here's a bunch of songs. They feel like they haven't put the effort or an effort into what the track listing is. There's just like, oh well, here's some stuff, here's some more stuff. You change the side, hey, here's more stuff. It's not like, do you know what I mean? You don't sort of get a sense that like one of the Bowie albums just ends on which song? Like a massive hit, like Space Oddity, I think. It's like it's just tagged onto the end, and you've listened to like a whole album of sort of like great sort of folky weird rock stuff, and then there's this humongous banger right at the end of the album, and you think like, well, what's the thinking there,
Yeah.
And yeah, like a lot of older stuff. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I sort of got that with this. It's just like they just made it. They released it. It's done. It didn't feel like a journey of a thing, like I expect albums to be. And I don't know how much of that is like a relatively modern thing.
Not that modern. There's Zeppelin records that do a great job of that.
Yeah, but were they outliers then? Was it not
I don't know.
considered that important?
Queen certainly always did it, didn't they?
Maybe,
Queen, yeah.
maybe different kind of drugs. So Stones were pretty heroined up, weren't they? Barry was.
The Beatles put albums together. I mean, you think Sgt. Pepper, that was crafted, wasn't it, from start to finish?
I don't know. I've never heard it.
No.
I'll tell you what, though. I bet it's shit.
I have a similar approach to the Beatles in that I keep finding albums from 1998 that I could end up getting obsessed with. So it's like I haven't finished the late 90s and early 2000s yet. So eventually, there's plenty of old music I do love, but when it comes to like something that I'm not that motivated to check out, it's like, oh yeah, but there's some weird post-hardcore bands that
They're probably way better than the Beatles.
Yeah,
I've been going back through some Beatles stuff because I was listening to McCartney do his latest round of interviews for his new thing, and that was interesting. Just going back, I mean, I'm not a particularly huge fan, but I'd always enjoy them when I listened to them, and
they're great. Yeah. They're really good.
They are really good.
The second bit of correspondence is from Ben Green, who again we've heard from a few times.
Hey, Benny.
Friend of the band, friend of the pod. And he emailed in about the guitar solos episode. Bear in mind, this is Ben Green, who in the late 80s went to his first ever gig with Michael Jackson at Wembley Stadium, as we talked about on a previous episode.
Also to add in, an excellent guitar player.
Michael Jackson. I enjoyed the guitar solos episode. We'll have to check a few of those out I'm not familiar with. Comfortably Numb holds a special place to me as it was pretty much down to that song alone I learned guitar. Just playing it over and over and over again. I remember seeing Dave Gilmour up close doing that one at the Old London Arena back in 1989. We were 3 rows from the stage and right in front of him.
Fucking hell.
Wow.
That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can go off a man. Like, stop telling us about the awesome gigs you've been to. Amazing.
So I sent him a quick message back and we had a little chat, and it turns out that was the first of 4 Pink Floyd gigs he went to in the space of 4 years or so.
Whoa.
What?
Amazing. Thanks, Ben.
All right, so that's correspondence for this week. Let's move on and talk about what we've been up to recently.
You're just too good to turn down. You're just too good to turn down. You're just too good to turn down.
Okay, it's been getting on for 4 weeks since we last recorded, so a few of you have been up to various things. Starting with Rich, you went to Desert Fest. We talked about that, I think, last episode. We were looking forward to it. Do you want to talk us through what happened there?
Yeah, it's always good fun. Have you guys been to Desert Fest?
Nope.
I haven't.
Camden?
The lineup
No.
looks amazing every year. We should get there.
Okay, so it's set across a number of venues in Camden. Introduced the first time this year the Roundhouse, so significantly bigger venue brought into play, and so a load more tickets. Centered out of the best rock pub in London, Blackheart,
Yes.
and just a joy really. You've got some real grimy toilet places like the Dev, which is always fun, through to all these much bigger places, and just full of characters as well. So I always feel underdressed there because everybody completely looks the part, and just fun to be had all over really. I had so much fun I didn't actually see that many bands.
Who did
But-
you see?
Who did I see? I saw a load of bands that I can't remember. Well, I can't remember what they were called. They're just small ones, but good. Some real weird, people singing about goblins, that kind of thing.
It's great.
Oh, weren't you going to see? You were going to see Gnome, weren't you?
I did not see Gnome. I wasn't
Oh,
aware of
mate.
Gnome.
Wow.
Well, thinking of Gnome, is that right, Ray?
Yeah. Belgian
Uh,
3-piece thing, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic band.
Highlight for me was Truck Fighters,
Oh,
Yeah, lovely.
who I have
Good
not
stuff.
seen before, so I didn't really know what to expect from their live experience. I was expecting something quite standard, I suppose, but interesting combination of almost like a guitarist who could be in the darkness.
Oh, really?
From it, just flamboyance, joy, running around, playing the guitar behind his head, lots of glammy type shenanigans.
I don't think I had them down as that sort of band.
The guitarist is, yeah, but and in that way, really endearing. See, that made it for me really. So the mix of all those grooves, riffs, and just this kind of flamboyance I wasn't particularly expected.
Do you remember back in the day that we used to play their first album a lot in our house?
Yes. And which one was it? What was the name of it?
Desert Cruiser.
Gravity?
Gravity
Something
X?
Gravity X.
The Cruiser was
Yeah.
Gravity X, Desert Cruiser opening track.
Yeah.
I saw them in the Croft on that tour.
Wow, I bet that was amazing.
That was wicked. Yeah.
Mad guitar tone on that
Yeah.
record. The whole record sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Didn't they record the drums in German bunker? I misremembered that? Concrete bunker?
Right.
Maybe. It's a crazy sounding record.
With the wicked
Other
sounding record.
surprises, Green Lung seem to be huge now. Just
I love Green Lung. Yeah.
loads of interest in them, loads of other big shows in London coming up. And alas, I had to miss Clutch, which I was a bit gutted about. Would have loved to have caught up with them again. But no, it's great. Guys should come next year, even just for a day or something. It's so much fun. Lovely setup, lovely people.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, just very easy, very chilled, very friendly.
Awesome. Right, you went to a gig. You want to
Yeah.
talk about?
I went to Prospect to see We Lost the Sea. So they were supported by Overhead the Albatross. Both of them are post-rock bands, I suppose. Overhead the Albatross, much more synthy, but do these wonderful kind of emotional build-ups, and that was great. But then We Lost the Sea were just an absolute triumph, really. They were so, I don't know if you've listened to them on record. They do the kind of, lots of their songs start with just a chiming sort of quiet repeated guitar pattern, and then that's the same guitar pattern. There's then this giant wall of sound coming at you, 6 minutes later, or whatever. But they were so much heavier live than they've attempted to be on record. It was a wonderful thing. I heartily enjoyed it. A few other points of note. It was in like that week where it was bonkers hot everywhere. And so Prospect was quite warm. But I think I've read and listened to an interview with them where they were playing a sold out Thekla, and then they made the decision to move it up to a bigger venue, which they kind of knew they wouldn't sell out. So I think, and what that meant was it was like there was probably 900, 1,000 people in there or something, but everyone had space. It was just like, oh, this is a revelation. What a way to do a gig. It's just like, it's busy, the vibes are good, but you can just have your own space, get to and from the bar. That was brilliant. And I went with my really good, my good friend Toby, who made an interesting maverick decision to go and see a band he didn't know when I asked him to go and see the gig. don't know if you've ever done this or would do this. He was like, "Oh, Ryan's asked me to go and see a gig. Ryan generally likes good music. I'm not going to listen to any of it until I get there. So I'm going to see what it's like when I go." And he had never seen any band that heavy. I don't think he'd been to see an instrumental band before. It was
Oh,
quite
wow.
a kind of, it was quite a full-on experience for Toby, but he loved it and has been listening to We Lost to See Stax since. Really good.
Good man.
Excellent.
The win.
Yeah.
You played a fun gig too, right?
Yeah, we played the Bell in Bath last weekend, like a Sunday lunchtime show. And I don't know if it's with Blue Neck or either of your outfits, Barry, you've made it to the Bell. But like even before there was any people in there, we were like first people in there, to set up and stuff. And wandering through the doors, like this place, this like just from the kind of the layout, the staff, the posters on the walls is like this is my kind of place. And then I think we played 2 sets as we often do, and there were a really good number of people in there. Some of them are family and friends, but it just seems to be a well-supported Bath institution. And we played really good. Maybe that's because it was lunchtime rather than like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Maybe there's something to be learned in there. But no, we played a really good one. Had a wicked time, and they straight away said, they'd love to have us back. Good vibes all around. And there was a live stream link I sent to a few people.
You saw it live, didn't you, Al? Did you catch it?
I did. I got about half an hour of it, I think.
Was that all you could manage? Was it all you could handle?
Yeah, I had a sore neck after that.
Don't know how it came across, but for us, just like on stage, off stage, sounded good, and we had a wicked time. Really good.
Yeah, it's great fun.
You guys always sound good. You've nailed it every single time I've seen you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Sickening.
Yeah, instant good times.
Well, we'll talk about the gig you've got coming up in Bristol a bit later on, shall we?
Yes.
There's also an album you wanted to enthuse about, Rye, I think.
The new Elder record is out. I don't know if anybody's caught that yet or listened to much Elder. I've realised in the build-up to this record, they've become one of my favourite bands, I think. I've listened to a lot of Delving, the main guy's other band, in the kind of build-up, and that's more synthy and it's all him. But the new Elder record is like, it's kind of taken loads of what Elder has been, which is kind of riffy and proggy, and then what was in that other band Delving, which is kind of really synthy and spacious, and added the two things together. So it's kind of this stoner rocky riffy thing, but it's also like super synthy and proggy and in no hurry. And it just does build to these cracking riffs, but it just sounds immaculate throughout. I'm super excited about the new Elder record.
I feel like they've come a long way, right?
Too right. Yeah.
I've not kept up with them, but when you talk about Elder, the first thing I think is straight back to the same time we listened to that first Truckfires album. The first Elder record came out, and I think they were all like 16 or something, weren't they?
Yeah.
And it was like straight ahead, desert rock riffs, wizards, sounded a bit like the first Sleep record, that sort of stuff.
But it was much more straightforward, and now they've just got this amazing, expansive, proggy thing, and it just
wasn't there a record of theirs a few years ago that was when I clocked that they'd matured a lot. They had a record which had a beautiful picture of a wave with the sun shining through it on the front.
Something
it's
like
lovely
world, is it? Yeah.
Aquamarine, beautiful cover on it, and that was really progressive and lovely and grown up for a band that I've still got them in a drawer in my head of like kid band,
Yeah,
they've come a long way.
Absolutely not. I don't like the word, but they've kind of like matured into this kind of expansive, progressive, still riffy when it's required, but just immaculate sounding thing. It's brilliant.
Have I seen it with you at some point in the Fleece?
Yes, yeah, we saw their man Paul Bearer together.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic.
Yeah. They're the sort of band where I enjoy what's going on so much. I have to kind of remind myself of, they do have a singer. Like it's almost like the singer and what they're singing about, as good as he is incidental to the whole vibe for Elder. To me, I just enjoy the whole package.
Is it the front guy is the singer, is the songwriter, is the guitarist?
Yes. And then in his other band, Delving, who are also great, he does everything. He does every instrument, records, produces it all.
Nice.
He's incredible.
Wicked. Barry, you want to go? What you been up to?
So I went to see a band called Feliset, I think you pronounce it, who are kind of grungy, pop punk-ish band, who I described to some friends of mine as being like if Kaneki were really into like Riot Girl and wrote songs about being in their 30s as opposed to, being 16. They're really great. I quite liked a couple of the songs, and then I saw them live. They were playing as part of the Youth Anthems sort of series of shows that we're going to talk a bit more about later, and so I went along to that. And just seeing the songs live just really sort of made them snap into sort of, they just made way more sense. And then I listened to the album again afterwards, and I've had it on a few times a week since, and I really like it. It's got really catchy. It has some weird noise guitar solos, and just really, it's just really engaging and really charming. I think it's really fun.
What were they called again?
What are they called?
Spell it.
Feliset, Felicette.
Oh, cool.
The album's called Plasticine Heart. It's got really cool artwork that someone has made a heart out of plasticine, like a proper, like anatomical looking one as opposed to a little kind of cartoon one. And then, and the back cover just looks like, they're really like kind of bands like the Breeders and stuff like that. And the back cover clearly is like a nod to that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was a really fun kind of experience of going from, I quite like this sort of thing, to, oh no, this is probably going to be one of my favourite albums this year, just from that context of seeing them live. So that was really good. And other than that, all I think I've been doing is prepping for recording new Oxygen Thief stuff. So,
Well, you're doing some recording?
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
What can you tell us about it, Baz?
Been working on a new album for quite some time. I've made it needlessly overcomplicated. The album's going to have like about 5 different lineups of musicians. My old bandmates who used to be in the band, some friends doing remote recording and a few things like that. And the new band lineup, which is G on bass and Matt Woolman on drums. And we've been kind of gradually sort of honing in the songs over the last, couple of months since we played a show, with the recording in the distance and just being like fine-tuning and just making lots of fun and interesting decisions.
Trying to make sure we've played them enough times for me to finally start remembering what happens in what order.
Yeah, and to be fair, weird stuff happens in weird orders in most of my songs, so it's,
You do have how do I be charitable here? A unique grasp of music.
Yeah. I've learned it wrong.
Which ironically is right. That's the way everyone should learn it. We have some lovely moments in rehearsals when something's happening. Baz got a riff and he's like, it goes da 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 da, and me and Matt will be like, wait, what? Hang on, and we'll spend 5 minutes debating between me and Matt about. I think what he's done is he's gone into 6s there, and then there's a bar of 7, and then back to a 4 after that. And when we finally worked it out that there's a polyrhythm that's making that happen, we have to resolve not to explain it back to Barry because we don't want to break his grasp of music and bring him into the mainstream, because that will spoil the beauty of his incredibly weird brain.
I just, anytime that stuff gets discussed, it's like the Homer Simpson and the little monkey kind of going in the brain. I just retreat into it. It's like, I understand.
Don't tell me, la 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 la.
Yeah. My old band used to say, if you had known what you were doing when you wrote that, it might have been clever, but you didn't, so it's not. So
That's harsh.
yeah, but fair. But it's I mean, it's all kind of on instinct, isn't it? So it's
There is
what I
some
like to do.
ripping stuff in there. I will say that
It's good fun.
without any qualms. Yeah, so we've had day 1 in the studio today, haven't we?
Yeah.
When's it going to be out, Baz?
I have no idea. Next year. Yeah. Still got a few bits of pieces to finish off other than this batch of songs. And then just go through all the admin of putting it together and mastering, sending it to some labels and seeing if they reply. But one way or another, it will get out there.
Brill. Right, well, I'm going to go next because G set us some homework last time to listen to The Scratch, and you sent a link to The Scratch's latest album. So I had to listen to that within a couple of days of our last recording, and well, I fell head over heels. Basically, I loved every second of it on first play. I really did, and since then I played that album 6 or 7 times and been through the whole back catalogue at least a couple of times. I bought a ticket for their gig in Bristol in February. I'm properly smitten.
It sounded like you had like it was incredibly gratifying for me that you had exactly the same response to it that I did. And it's such a rare opportunity or occurrence to listen to a record like that and be like, oh shit, oh God. First listen.
And
I think I love it.
Yeah, totally. I was I couldn't remember the last time that had happened.
Yeah.
But yes, I absolutely loved it. The way you described it last time was fairly spot on. I don't think I could do a better job because it covers so much ground, and yet every ground they cover is done so perfectly. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, couldn't get enough of it. Still can't get enough of it. Rich, you had a listen as well, I think.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it as well. And it's on repeat. There's 2 albums on repeat for me at the moment. That's one of them. To me, it's the perfect amalgam of Curb Dog and the Levelers. And I mean, that sounds like I'm slagging them off. But there's something about that melodic and harmonic structure of their melodies, which is so Curb Dog, which makes me think, is that an Irish thing?
But well, there's a huge amount of Irish folk music in it, right?
Well, there is. I mean,
Yes.
I
Less so in Curb Dog though.
I have a soft spot for Clannad, as you know, from my days being the world's biggest Robin of Sherwood fan. And although it's not directly similar, there's just it harks to it at various points, which obviously is lovely for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean that song with the clawfinger riff is just
It's
slamming.
so good, isn't it?
Is that called Glad Rags? That's
Yeah.
really
Oh my
good.
goodness, that is such a banger.
And I've even got over my slight aversion to their drum sound, which I think I
What was it?
compared to.
What was the message you sent when you first?
Well,
You,
it sounded
it
a
said
bit
something like, "This sounds really good, but is he playing on some Tupperware?"
yeah. I've watched a few videos and it obviously works. You see them in terms of interacting with crowds. I'm sure it'd be an amazing gig. I'd happily go and see them live. But yeah, I
Are
really,
we
really
going?
enjoy them.
Well,
I've got a ticket.
I've got my ticket. Yeah,
I should grab one.
it's not till February, so
Okay.
Where is it?
Electric in town.
yes,
Yeah, I'll do it.
they are playing at 2000 Trees in a few weeks actually. But
Oh, I missed
I
that.
don't think I'll get there for the day. Gee, you've had a listen to the new album by A.
Yes, I have. So, I think on the last episode, I made an offhand comment about the new A album. I may have said that next episode, once it's out, I may be quite critical of the new A album. I wasn't feeling particularly positive about it because they'd already released like about 4 singles off it. And I love A, right? I love A. They came around at a time where it was just a little bit before we were getting out there and trying to start a band going. So they were just a little bit ahead of us. So they were never like contemporaries of ours, but they were very much current when we were back in the day. And yeah, real soft spot for them. Loved all their records. You know, maybe I lost touch for the last one, I think. And so I was really excited to hear they were back together. And 4 singles that they'd sort of soft released, and every single one of them I'd been absolutely gutted and disappointed by. Like they're all just sound quite messy and downbeat, even not particularly powerful or catchy or really anything like that. And at least one of them seemed like a country and western song. And so I was all primed and ready. Hence my flippant comment for a bad experience. And I listened to it. It's great. It's absolutely great. I don't know whether it's helped. I think it probably did help that I first watched. There's a series of videos that Jason Perry's put up. It's like about 4 of them. So it's quite a long bit of talking where he basically talks through their whole career, which I thought was fascinating because it's very relevant to the sort of time that we were knocking about a little bit before then. Really interesting to hear the full story. I'd never really heard a lot of that stuff before. And it sort of ends with them getting back together and talking about the reasons why and what it was like to get back together. So it definitely primed me up for it, even though I'd not enjoyed those singles. And by the time I listened to the album, I just think it's sort of, I haven't quite worked out how, but somehow, having not liked 3 or 4 songs, in the context of the whole piece, it all just sounds great. It sounds just like A to me. It sounds like the record they would make at this age. There's lots of massive, big, powerful stuff. There's loads of really catchy stuff on there. There's just huge amounts of charm and character left, right, and center. And I thought it was going to sound horrible based on the couple of songs I'd heard. It sounds great, beautifully produced. There's some massive bangers on there. There's some really heartbreaking, gentle ones. And it's got me. I love A again. I'm back into it. I've been going through all of their albums. I've even spent some more time with their last one, which was an absolute banger that I can't believe I missed. So it's a real turnaround. I love it. Prang, the new album by A. Definitely recommend you all have a crack at it if you haven't already. Has anyone else been in and given it a go?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did listen through.
Yeah, I listened to it a couple of weeks ago on the way back from a gig, and we started talking about it in the car on the way to the studio this morning. We're like, no, don't talk about this, yeah,
That's
I'm very
content.
surprised that was your. I assumed that you were gonna hate it,
Yeah. Well, me too.
and I didn't love it. I would say there's a few. There's a song on there that sounds like Reef, and as someone who likes Reef, yeah, even I felt that was not good. And there's a few lyrical things on there that made me cringe inside out.
But they've always been lyrically cringy though. That's been part of their gimmick is bad lyrics that are good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it's just it's probably it's almost certainly a me problem. I don't really like they sort of seem to be singing about sort of social media quite a lot, which I find a bit like, well, come on, there's more.
It's quite a dad record, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I didn't hate it as an album, but there were a couple of songs on there that I thought sort of stank. So, but it's great that they're. As I get older, the more I tend to think of bands that I loved back in the day releasing new albums that I don't love. Is kind of like, well, I'd rather they do that and I get to see them than they don't do it again and I don't. So, whereas I think 10, 15 years ago, I'd be like, why don't you just stay good or don't just play the old stuff? Whereas now it's like, oh, actually, no, it's fine. I could go to the bar if I don't like a song.
I will have a go. It's just, it starts with, I saw it started with that first track they released, which I thought was rotten. And it was like, oh.
It sounded way better when I listened to the album. I don't know
Really?
why. I remember
kind
saying
of-
that me and you listened to that and we were like, what the fuck is this? But it sounds good now. I can't explain why.
Did you hear the last 100 Reasons album a few years ago?
No.
Because I had a similar experience that you had
Did I?
with this album. That I didn't like any of the songs as singles. I was like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Don't like that. Okay, I'll give it a whirl and then as an album, loved all of it. No idea, like out of context, just didn't like the songs. But
So
then
weird, isn't it?
What?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed listening to it. I think the first song, which again, as you say, was that single. The sound is rough on that one. Seemingly, it seemed really raw and not the glistening A that I've got used to.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, I had it on in the background while I was working or whatever, so I enjoyed it. There's a few moments where I sat up and sort of took notice, but other than that, it was kind of on in the background. I didn't probably give it the attention it deserved. I'm sure I'll go back to it at some point.
I'd say it's a real grower. There's some proper earworms on there.
And I put in a quick mention of probably my favourite album of the year so far is Boards of Canada's Inferno. Legendary electronic duo, first music in 13 years, and it's amazing. They do everything so well. They do the whole Aphex Twin mysterious. Who are they? What are they up to? All of these kind of legends around them. They work in shrouded in a lot of mystery, which wouldn't be particularly that interesting if it wasn't the music being so great. So if you like electronic music, I'd thoroughly recommend
Aren't
that.
they like quite ambient?
Sometimes. Yeah, they are more sort of soundscape stuff, but they do really interesting things with beats and vocal samples as well. Very kind of moody, John Carpenter-y, some Portishead type sounds in there, but it may not be your kind of thing. But I think it's just
That is my kind of thing, man.
Brilliant.
Send me a link and I'll do it for my homework for next episode.
Great, we'll do.
Excellent. Right, well, that's lots of stuff to discuss. Let's move on.
Almost had me multitasking. Shitless, never notwithstanding. Almost had me billboard branding. Showboat bastard. Almost had me.
So this week, instead of looking back to see what LSB was up to on this day in history, we're going to look back to our joint history with Barry, how we met, gigs where we've intersected, other stuff we've done together, where our paths have intertwined. So I think Ryan, Barry, I'll sort of hand over to you to tell the story of how we met. But it started with me and you, Ryan, going to the beer keller to do some flyering in the early days of LSB, didn't it?
It did. We were going for a night out, rock night. I think with some flyers and to show our age, some tips in our pocket. And if I recall correctly, Wild Arts came on. DJ started playing the Wild Arts. I was like, I love the Wild Arts. I'm going to go to the dance floor.
Sucker Punch, am I right?
Yes.
Sucker Punch. Yep.
Yeah. So went to the dance floor to throw myself around a bit with one other person on said dance floor. When the song finished, I got one of the tapes out of my pocket to hand it to someone who's, Wild Arts fan. You will probably be a fan of my band. I hand that person a tape. Barry handed me a flyer for his gig.
Yeah. I'd been there with very similar intentions of like, I'm going to go and try and make some people like my band. So yeah, it was like, come and see my band, listen to my band. Great, we'll do that. And then you and Ollie came to our gig?
At the Fleece, was it?
Fleece,
At the Fleece,
yep.
yeah.
This was early 2001. I think it was right at the beginning of 2001, from what I remember.
Yeah, so I was in a band called Nuclear Fish when I was at sixth form. And so I would, go out and fly people. And I'm pretty sure I would have said, yeah, we sound like the Wild Hearts. Definitely didn't, but I loved them. So
that was enough for me.
Yeah. And and I remember being at that gig and be like, wow, those guys that I met at the beer car that came to the gig. That's pretty cool.
It shows how often that thing doesn't work, right?
Yeah. Most of the time you give someone a flyer, they say, is this your band? And you go, yeah. They go, you're shit. And I'm like, you go, have you heard it? No, but you're shit.
It's not my kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and then I came to see you guys at the Louis. I think, was that the next one? That was...
I think we did. I can't
Yeah.
remember. I think the deal was we came and saw you, and you came and saw us roughly within a few weeks of each other.
Yeah.
But by August, we changed our name from Sideswipe, as we were at the time,
Sideswipe.
to become Left Side Brain. And our first ever gig as Left Side Brain, we asked Nuclear Fish to support us. So that was at the
Nice.
Louis in August, 15th of August, 2001.
And would
So,
you
wow.
believe that everything's come full circle? That today, Barry and I were recording in the basement of the Louis with Elliot, who produced one of the Wild Arts live albums. How's that for happenstance?
Yeah. It's funny how these things happen, isn't it? Because that's such a weird, I know we're all people that don't believe in sort of fate and all that kind of stuff, but like you trace back all the things that have happened to that moment, and you just think, well, that's a lot of adventures from such a sort of chance thing to do.
Am I right in thinking that our last ever gig at the Louis was your first ever full band Oxygen Thief gig in 2013?
Yeah.
There's a few. I mean, obviously we did a lot between that. Lots of.
And that
gigs
was in the
together.
Louis as well?
That was in the Louis as well. Yeah.
What? Amazing.
Yeah, we had some fun nights in Aberystwyth. A couple of fun nights in Aberystwyth. They spring to
We did.
mind.
They were very memorable. Yeah. What was that place on the seafront?
That was the Bay.
That was the Bay.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what was the other one that was more of a side street?
That was the Coops, or the Cooper's Arms.
Yeah.
Okay. You guessed it on one of the songs, didn't you?
I did, yeah. G was ill, weren't you? Like your voice wasn't.
I'm feeling this is like a theme of me being ill for gigs. Was I ill that many times?
A few times. Yeah.
I'm not a sickly boy.
Was it all around the same time?
It must have been. The 3 shows that we've been through them all in 2 episodes now.
I do have much of that second Aberystwyth gig on video actually, because you did a
What?
cover of Magnify in your
Oh, yeah.
acoustic solo set before we went on, which was off
We
our
got-
original.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then you did guest with us. That was some of that was captured. I think one of your mates was videoing the gig, so that some of that was captured. You have guested with us on stage a few times, and also G's wedding. The rest of us formed the band that played at G's wedding, which was a lot of fun. We did covers in the style of Left Side Brain. A highlight.
GC, weren't we?
Yes.
AMC GC. We were, yes.
Oh, that was great.
That was
That was a
And
lot
you
of
were
fun.
amazing. Best wedding band ever.
That was such fun.
It was.
It was a joy.
Yeah, I was recounting to my middle son Josh the other day how so we all dressed up as Angus Young in our schoolboy outfits, didn't we? And at some point somebody shouted, "We love schoolboys!" and
Was it
Richie
me?
went, "What a coincidence!" So what is our next act? And then we played Black or White by Michael Jackson.
Amazing. Any other fond memories of our time with Barry?
I remember him being sick in the toilets in Barnsley.
Yeah, we did mention that a couple of episodes back, I think, didn't we? Huddersfield at the parish, wasn't it?
Oh,
It was.
we're going almost back to revisit the scene of the crime, aren't we, Bo?
Yeah, we're playing that in. They've moved the parish to a different, bigger venue, but they've still got like a small sister venue called Amped, and we're playing that in October.
Awesome.
Should be fun.
Wicked.
Try and throw up somewhere inconvenient for them.
Oh, it was such a great night there, though, wasn't it?
It
We
was.
did have a lot of
It was
fun.
good fun.
All right, let's move on.
One more time in the firing line. It's hard time. We always right. One more time in the firing line. It's hard time. We always right. We always right.
All right, this week's discussion is all about underrated and forgotten bands, but specifically focusing on bands we've played with over the years and want to give a shout out to, however belated. So we're just going to go around the five of us, see who we want to reminisce about, really. Barry, as our guest, should we start with you?
Cool. I'll kick off, I think, with a band called Carnivores, who were from Glasgow. Their singer Kenny Leckie is a good friend. I played a few shows with them over the years, and they put out an album on Small Town America, which was Jet Plane Landing and all those kind of bands, La Faro probably as well. Put that album out, and then it was great, but it didn't take off in the way that they hoped. But they were amazing. They were like Kenny was an incredible front person. Would just could sing amazingly, could scream brilliantly, climbed up everything, jumped off stuff. It was just really phenomenal sort of three-piece. And he's done sort of other bits and pieces over the years. He's in he made like a sort of ambient sort of classical type record a couple of years ago, and he's doing another project at the moment whose name has absolutely fallen out of my brain. So I will come back to that in a minute. But yeah, Kenny's a really great writer, producer and stuff. They just didn't get the sort of plaudits and excitement that they deserved, unfortunately.
Do I remember that they played with us at Lexapalooza that year we played?
Yes.
Because
Yes,
I
they did.
remember them being awesome, absolutely awesome. And I don't know if they were on immediately before us or a couple of bands before us, but yeah, they were really, really good. Great live band.
I don't remember them. How would what would trigger my memory of them if we saw them somewhere?
Scottish.
They were very Scottish.
Just I'll send you some tracks. They had a song called John Actor is Monkfish, which was a big banger. It's a good fascio sketch reference as well. Lots of really good song titles. One of those kind of bands that just do everything brilliantly. And I've just looked up I found the other thing. It's called Ripley, which is a sort of duo songwriting with a friend of his called Sarah, who has also been in other bands. And they're sort of mainly like a production kind of songwriting thing. And they just made these great things, which is somehow like a cross between like Self-Esteem and The Armed. It's like it kind of flows from this massive pop stuff and then has this really brutal sections to it as well. And they've been doing some really good stuff.
I'm in. I'm going to listen to that tomorrow.
Yeah, they are great. And yeah, I think Kenny's one of those kind of songwriting forces that he's done a couple of different bands, and everything he does is really wicked.
Awesome. That's a great start. I'm going to go next simply because I think this band could end up being on all four of our list from Left Side Brain. So I'll introduce them, and anyone else who wants to chip in can. This band played quite an important role in terms of where we ended up recording, some of the people we know, some of the other bands we met. But apart from anything else, they were an awesome, awesome band. And it's a band called Throat from Northern Ireland. I believe G heard them first on the Radio 1 Rock show, and we were in the process of putting on a big gig in Frome at the Cheese and Grain. And we decided to fly them over and get them to headline this big festival we were putting on, which, you know, the gig itself was only, I'd be being polite to say it was a moderate success. However, we got on like a house on fire with the four guys in Throat. We liked a lot of the same music. We had a great weekend with them and became firm friends, didn't we, from there? Firstly, did any of you have Throat on your list?
Oh,
Well, yes.
Yeah, impossible not to have them on there somewhere. And I remember hearing them first, and the thought that
we were in the car. We were in the car together on the way to practice in Frontline.
Were we?
Yes.
Because the thought that I remember having was just like they were a current band and they were on Radio 1 or something, right? And I just remember thinking, because we were just trying to get our band going and starting to work out what we were going to sound like. I was like, there's a band who's doing what we want to be doing. That sounds like our sort of thing. They didn't sound exactly like us, but that was it in our department. You know what I mean? And hearing another band do it really well when we were still working it out and, you know, on the way there, it was just quite exciting to hear. And, you know, fair play. Love that one.
They were in the kind of helmet and quicksand space, weren't they?
Yeah.
Sounded great.
Yeah.
And they loved Curb Dog, so we had that sort of that foundational rooting together, didn't we?
That first album, Knievel is Evil, is a ripping record.
But the second one that didn't get released as well was even better, wasn't it?
Even better,
we got an early release of that, and that was just great songs.
We all
Stunning
listened to that
songs.
so much. It was such gold. Brilliant.
Well, that was full of all the songs that they were playing when we were touring with them,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Knievel is Evil is on Spotify, their main album that was released. It's got Neil Fallon from Clutch on it, and they're doing their cover of Crazy Horses by the Osmonds. It's also got Andy Cairns guesting on it as well. It's a great album from start to finish. We spent a lot of time with that album back in the day. And as you said, by the time we toured with them later in 2002, they were mainly playing new stuff. So as you said, they shared their sort of, 7 or 8 track demo that they'd recorded. I listened to it this morning again, actually, just to reminisce a bit, and it's still sounding great now. And then they did a bit more touring. They went over to America. They supported Clutch and Mastodon, didn't they, when Mastodon were just starting out around America.
Amazing.
And then I guess they were just struggling to get the traction they thought they probably deserved after all the effort they'd put in, and decided to call it a day, very sadly, by about 2005. But by that point, they'd recommended that we fly out to Northern Ireland to record with Neil Calderwood, who they'd recorded their album with, which we did for our first EP. Loved our time with Neil and went back to record all our albums with him. So again, it's one of these links. All the things that came for us wouldn't have happened if you hadn't heard Throat on the Radio 1 Rock show that night, and we hadn't really pushed to get them over and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Also worth mentioning that Willie from Throat formed a new band called Dutch Schultz, who are also awesome.
Great.
We again flew over to play at LSBX, didn't we? Fantastic band. And they're sort of, although infrequently, they are still together, and they've done 3 albums, I think, so far, all of which you can find on Spotify, so well worth tracking down.
And they also, Willie and Rory did Haunch, didn't they? Which was a 3-piece it must have been a 4-piece. There's those 2 on guitar. There's Michael McKeegan from Therapy on bass.
Willie was on drums.
Willie's on drums. They are wicked.
So it was a 3-piece, I think.
But they still had the wicked Willie Rory harmonies, didn't they? Yeah, and I think so. I remember that album of theirs from about 2018. I think they've had one since, which I haven't listened to. So that's on my list for this week. Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent. Right, Rye, you're next on my screen.
All right. So I was going to go for one that was maybe one that you boys weren't going to mention. I think we only played with them once in Cambridge. And full disclosure, my good friend, mine and G's very good friend, Ben, is in this band. And the band's Tupolev Ghost. And they were just a mighty, mighty fine band. They were like I suppose now you'd call them what, post-hardcore. They had elements.
Post-hardcore when that was a new thing.
Yes. So they've got elements of like a Fugazi kind of post-hardcore thing with a kind of a punky angle on it. But like grooves, which I always found like I would bang my head to more than I would to listening to a Fugazi records. And I've had the album.
Propulsive, angular, yelpy.
Yeah. And I've had their EP on today, and it still just sounds so good. It sounds like the guitar sounds kind of horrible, but in a brilliant way. I think it's only 6 tracks, but it just still sounds absolutely wicked. Tupolev Ghost, brilliant. And then after they disbanded, no longer with our good friend Ben, but the main guy, I think is called James, he had another band called Grieving, who keep some of the same sort of feel, but more into the punk angle of it. And they've got maybe an album and an EP, which is just, well, they're just another just mighty fine band. Absolutely wicked. I've got a feeling he produced one of the Tellison records as well. But Tupolev Ghost we played with, I'm pretty sure only once, but they were brilliant, and Grieving are also excellent.
Rich?
Okay. For me, I'm going to go for a band that we met early on doing what we were doing. Ollie, you'll remember the dates because I don't actually remember when we played with them. I remember we definitely played with them at the Louisiana. That was a band that were Welsh combined kind of stoner rock, hip hop, rockabilly, Goat Boy.
Yes.
Who I've kind of been going back down a Goat Boy hole, so to speak, over the last couple of weeks. There's not a lot on Spotify. There's some pretty good stuff on YouTube.
There's 2 records they had.
Mhm.
Super Lube was the album,
Super Loop.
but then they had like a sort of an extended EP type thing that they did after that.
Yeah. Crazy energy, great musicians, lots of humor, good use of a Mortal Kombat sample in at least one of their songs.
Come here.
Get over here. Yeah, come here. Something like that. That was just awesome. And hilariously, I found a video of them at Glastonbury, which I have very vague memories of. Video from behind the stage, which seems to be, I thought, who's that tall looking, spaced out idiot at the front? That was me.
Yay!
Glastonbury 2002, looking quite worse for wear.
I bet they
and
killed
having
it.
a great
What a
time.
band. We played with them a few times, right?
We played with them twice.
Yeah.
I knew they're on my list here, so I dug out our gig diaries from the 2 times we played with them. The first time we played with them was at the Rigger in Newcastle under Lyme.
Was that with support from Solemn Crush?
No, it wasn't. That was the other time we played at the Rigger. No, we managed to, we spent a lot of effort blagging our way on as the tour support for that just one night only. It was Liberty 37 with Goat Boy as the main tour support, and they were touring the whole country. And
So that's like a double Swansea bands there.
Yeah, somehow we managed to support them in Newcastle under Lyme.
I made a mistake that day. Goat Boy had my friend from school, Rodri Thomas, playing drums.
What a drummer.
He was an amazing drummer. I mean, he was leagues better than me when we were in school. And then, funnily enough, when we were growing up, he still was, by some margin. But yeah, I was like, oh, they're the support band. Well, I'll just fucking use his drums. I know Rod's super, honestly, I'm going to get there and he'll just be like, right, yeah, of course you can. Oh, it turns out he was using Liberty 37's drum kit. But then it was like
wasn't he drumming for Liberty 37 at that point?
Oh, maybe he was. He was standing for a while, was he?
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah.
He was incredible. He was like, what would you call it? Breakbeat drummer.
Yeah.
Like super fast. Boot cat, all that kind of
Yeah,
super
that's
fast.
amazing. Brilliant. Yeah.
What a band. Love Goat Boy.
I've got our gig diaries at the time. So this is the Rigger, was the first time we played with them. So we've all got a little bit in the diary. So G said, loud, really loud place. Dare I say too loud? Messy, harsh, and far from busy, but fun. Liberty 37 were pretty good, but Goat Boy put us all to shame. Damn, that band kick ass. Got my first look inside a tour bus too. Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Rich, though, just said, I hated this tedious gig in this, pub. So much so, I sat in the car afterwards and missed my potential first viewing of The Mighty Goat Boy.
No, what?
I can remember that venue. It didn't have like a great big curved front to it or something. It made the sound was bouncing all over the place.
And then Rye just said, I have nothing but bad feeling towards this place. 2 gigs in this strangely well-lit bikers pub with a terrible sound are enough for anyone. Possibly my funniest gig moment ever, though. Liberty 37 play their rousing, built for the stadium's anthems and bring one solitary old lady to the dance floor. Class.
Yes,
Goat.
I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
And then you did make a point of saying Goat Boy superb.
Yeah. I felt bad. I was not laughing at the lady dancing. I was laughing at the situation of these gigantic tunes.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, we played with them at the Louis. Not that long after we put a gig on, we got your mates, Rich, from a back home, Curb, to open the gig.
Me.
Hey.
We supported and we put Goat Boy on as headliners. And they stayed with us overnight, so it was absolute carnage, of course.
I got up on stage and sang
You did.
100 Degrees by Caius with them
You did.
Oh,
yeah.
amazing. Nice.
without knowing the words.
Why let that get in the way?
Richie, when you went back, I'm assuming you had to listen to Super Loop recently, did you?
I did.
Did you enjoy the secret track at the end?
Oh yeah, how does it go?
Oh, God.
Have you
Don't
got
look at my razzle,
my
man.
razzle?
I haven't
Beep.
I haven't even looked at it yet. Come on.
Have you got it? Have you got my razzle?
I want my razzle,
Beep.
man.
Wasn't that where we got the idea of putting potentially that voicemail we had of Neil Fallon from Clutch on the end of one of our
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, that was so Brancho in Bristol, our buddy, had met Neil Fallon, and
in the Hatchet.
Clutch were playing in town, and told him that his friends were in a band who hadn't been able to make the gig because we were away in Ireland recording a record. So he got him to leave us a voicemail on my phone saying that, how sorry he was that he couldn't make it. And we tried to get that on our record. But it turns out if you've got a voicemail on a mobile phone, as soon as you put a microphone near it, you get all the interference from the mobile network, and it click, 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 and we couldn't get it off the phone onto the thing.
That actually wasn't it, G. He
He
called
turned it down.
No, he said some stuff on there. I can't remember what he said, but he was drunk and he called us some certain things that weren't.
Really?
Anyway, so I contacted.
I don't remember that.
So I contacted Clutch's manager, and he came back to me and said, "No, you can't use that. Sorry."
Have you still got it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what happened to it.
It would be in the LSB sent mail. You still have that email account?
6 PCs ago, yeah. G, who have you got on your list?
So, well, see, I was going to go for a less big one on the assumption that someone else was going to mention GU medicine. So, well, I'm going to push with GU because we can't not cover that, the same as we can't not cover throat. So we played a lot of shows with GU, and over the years, various different sort of incarnations of the band. Back at the start when Pete was still on drums, through to did we maybe even play with them when they were cavorts, possibly, or was that a little bit after?
No.
But we I think we must have played with them as much as any other band we ever played with. It feels like over time, and they're probably maybe the best band properly that we played. I don't know. I feel like they were. We've always been very conscious that we are nice middle class white boys, right? and they always seemed like our bigger, badder, older brothers, and we were always in awe of them just because they just kick so much ass. They're kind of like a Motorheady, groovy, sort of stonery band, and with ripping tunes and just riff after riff after riff. And in terms of putting a show on, they played so hard. The amount of times we've seen them throwing themselves around on stage, it's nothing but inspiring, and such lovely, lovely, lovely men. We've spent great times after shows with multiple occasions. I've got nothing but good things to say about G Medicine. 3 albums I think they've got, have they? Was it the first one with the cow skull on it? Then Saints of Excess, was it? And what was the third one called? I can't think. But every single one of them is an absolute ripper. and I can't say enough about them as people or as performers. Love those guys.
Wonderful band.
Amazing. Yeah. Just proper, yeah, kind of pure rock and roll dudes. Really?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we first played with them in 2004 because we had the same gig booker, basically. So he put us on a tour together, didn't we? We did 4 or 5 dates around the UK. Hit it off really well, so they invited us over to Barnsley for a weekend. So we stayed with them for a couple of nights and played Mexborough and the Parish for the first time. Although it was a predecessor of the Parish, actually. And then, of course, they played LSBX at the end.
Amazing.
I was just trying to find the name of my favourite GU track, which I think is, looking on Spotify, it is Taking Her Lead, right? But also I spotted on there, I forgot their most famous one, the biggest sort of success they had was one called The Right Time, which is super Queens of the Stone Age, super catchy, upbeat, absolute banger of a track. And it unlocked a memory that in the years after Left Side Brain, when Ryan and I were playing with Super Goliath, GU Medicine had a reformed gig and we were booked to play it. We couldn't make it in the end, which was absolutely gutting. And I remember in the preparation for it, we had prepared an incredibly slowed down version of The Right Time.
Oh, what?
That we were going to play. And we never got to do it. It was going to be amazing.
I think I first heard that The Right Time on a Rock Sound CD.
Yeah. I read about them before we had any idea of playing with them.
Yeah.
They were like new record by a new cool band, Queens of the Stone Age, new successes from the UK.
And then the good chunk of the band are still going, aren't they? Like Toronto Blessings.
Fantastic band.
Are wicked. And we've got the same kind of rock and roll spirit. And then Servers are also excellent in a much more kind of maximalist kind of. I think they've got bits of kind of Killing Joke, Wall of Sound thing going on, but still with the riffs at every turn. Quality band, quality people.
Barry, have you got another one you want to mention?
Yeah. It's basically another sort of guy who's like a central sort of figure to a bunch of bands that he's done. So there's a guy called Ellis Slater who was in a band called. But the first time I encountered them, they were called The Misnomer. And then he went on to do a band called Strange Planes, who Oxygen Thief toured with a few years ago. He's the kind of person who's done loads of bands, and there's all of them sort of sound like something that he's done. If you know what I mean, like there's something about the way he writes melodies or riffs or whatever that all has this kind of, I don't know, magic factor to it that I just can't understand why it's never got. I don't know. It's never been sort of picked up and flown, because everything he's done, I think, is really great. And he was in a band called March of the Playwright, the Atom Gang. He did a band which was like a collaboration with another songwriter called Mild Men. And like you listen to any of those albums, and they've just got these like great songs, really interesting sort of arrangements. He's doing a kind of new project at the moment, which is Ellis Slater and the Night Shift. Have I got that right? And that's really good as well. It's just he did a solo record that I'm not even sure he released. He played it to me once and it was great. He's just really, really good. I feel a little bit guilty because we were having a chat once and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not really going to do it." And I've sort of had my time. I'm not really bothered anymore. And then I was like, "Well, we're going on tour. Do you want to come on tour?" And he's like, "Yeah, come then." And then after the tour, he's like, "I'm gonna try as hard as I can again." I was like, "Oh, sorry, shit." He's just. There's something I love about those kind of songwriters like Ginger Wildheart or like Jay Robbins or guy who's in Gay for Johnny Depp and Garrison and a few other bands. Like you can always tell there's something about the way that they write songs that it just sort of sprinkled around different projects, even if they're quite different. There's just something magical about it. And Alice, there's a band called Strange Planes, which is the most recent, I think, sort of.
I feel like I've seen Strange Planes. Supporting you guys, probably.
I think they might have played a show that Super Goliath did, actually.
There you go.
Can't remember if it was Bristol or Portsmouth. But yeah, it might have been the time we all went to Portsmouth and played. But yeah, they're really great.
All right, Rye?
Eden Main were on my list, actually. I'll keep this one brief, but they were an absolute force of nature. Eden Main, they were like a super hectic, super at it, really heavy band. But it was probably before I'd heard any Dillinger Escape Plan or any of that other sort of super kind of crackers, full tilt metal, a really hectic metal like that. As a result, seeing them was just blew me away. We had to share a stage with them twice, I think, and both times they were just foot to the floor, 11 out of 10 for the whole 29 minutes they played or whatever it was.
They blew us clean off stage, and all our girlfriends fancied their singer. That's my memory of it.
They were, an incredible thing, really. The music almost didn't seem too complicated to me to make sense, but also they played it with such passion that I left there thinking it was incredible. They were, like I said, absolute force of nature. Stellar band.
Their album, To You the First Star, 100% recommend.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're on Spotify, so you can go and track them down.
Yeah. And now I like lots of music that's lots like that. Yeah, they must have liked the precursors to all of those bands, like a Car Bomb, like a Frontiera, like Dillinger, all that sort of stuff. But they were a kind of British precursor with them, I think, and they were exceptional.
Did they get the guy from Converge?
They got him to master. I don't think they recorded with a mix or master it, I think. Yeah.
Okay. They were definitely. You played with them at the Croft.
We did.
Yeah, I think it was their first EP might have been Kurt Ballou did it.
It was.
And then
I think you're right.
They got someone else. Andrew Schneider did their album. Didn't he do Man Trapping for Sport and Profit by Scissor Fight, maybe?
Oh, goodness.
They were by far, that gig at the Croft, they were definitely the heaviest thing I'd ever seen or heard at that point. And was just absolutely like, just didn't know what to do. Do you know? My brain was just like, what? Like the way that guy screamed as well. And I think he had to kind of go and learn how to do it better when he made the album, didn't he? Because I think he was just doing it in a way that was damaging to himself. So his voice is different on the album than the EP, but it's like that drummer was just 100 miles an hour the whole time
as well. Yeah. Every member played an incredible part in it. It was fearsome.
Yeah, much like when we got Goat Boy to Bristol, we did the same with Ian Main, because you'd made friends with the bass player, hadn't you, G, Nick?
Well, this is the weird thing that as at the time, as hugely successful and fantastic as they were, it did just start out back when in my job finding someone else in the company, because I'd been putting stuff on the internal notice board advertising our demo probably, and I just got chatting with some bloke who said he had a band as well, and that was before they were only just starting together, and it turned out that was what they turned into. The next thing they were off on tour with the Lost Prophets.
We played with them, I think, at Uxfest was the first time, possibly the first time we met them in person. And then, we got them over to Bristol, and the lineup was Stud Lisa first, who were a local pop punk band.
Yes, Stud Lisa.
Then us, and then we put Eden Main on as headliners, of course.
What a lineup! Some more great book in there.
I mean, I've got your gig diary here, G. You wrote the entire entry. It's quite a long one, but I might read this out. Last on, and quite frankly, not least in the slightest, were Eden Main. Now, I've been trying to sort out a gig with these guys since I first got to know Nick a couple of years ago, because basically the prospect of our two bands on the same bill was at once ridiculous and fantastic. I mean, they make us sound like Atomic Kitten, but at the end of the day, we share that essential common goal to rock as hard as physically possible, and they didn't disappoint. Anyone who's heard their ripping debut EP, The Treachery Pact, will have a good idea of how the show went. They pulled the old start off with something nice sounding ploy, and of course, within a few minutes, the riff storm commenced. Technically speaking, I've honestly never seen a heavier band. Eden Main managed to be at once bollocks squashingly heavy, scrotum shreddingly fast, and maintain a real cohesive and, relatively speaking, of course, catchy song-led approach, which is no mean feat in my book. Good to see a band playing heavy shit and actually enjoying themselves. Anyway, you get the gist.
Yeah. I think you liked them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What a band.
Was testicularly affected by the sound of that.
And they were doing really well, actually. They had a lot of momentum, didn't they? There was a lot of support out there, and they decided, I don't know if they just couldn't maintain the lifestyle or whatever it was, but they could have been much bigger, I think. Rich, have you got any more?
I'm going to pass by Ruben because I guess they aren't really in the underrated camp, but stunning band, probably the most successful out of the bunch that we've mentioned. But I'm going to go to Taint, who I talked about on our riff episode. Drunken Marksman being the riff band I absolutely love and find more and more from the more I go back to them. 2 albums. I think they disappeared in 2008, I think, but leave 2 amazing albums. Just a wonderful band.
Have you ever listened to Hark?
No, I should do,
Which
right?
was Jim Bob his record after that. I think, was that right?
Yeah, yeah,
And that is just more of the same.
yeah.
Brilliant.
At least one of those records, definitely the first of those 2 records, is really good.
Give them a go.
More classic Swansea bands.
Yes.
Goat Boy, Taint. Next up, we'll be talking about Kenneth Talking Machine Gun and the Milk and Cheese.
Trying to think, there's one more Jim Bob band that he did after Hark. He plays everything on that one.
Was that Silverburn?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
great.
Yes.
Right, I think we're probably coming to the end, but are there any honourable mentions or anyone else?
I'll do an honourable mention. When we were playing, I don't know if it was Dr. Ducks. It was somewhere up in
Dr. Drake's.
There you go, somewhere up in Scotland.
Aberdeen.
We played with a band called the Maudlin Cocks,
Mm-hmm.
who were a Scottish 2-piece, and they were, I think they were pretty hammered, and there were drums and guitar, and I think they were both singing, and the sheer messy charisma and emphatic performance absolutely captivated me. And my memory is either before or after, maybe it was before, when we were sound checking, I said to him, again, it's in my middle class polite manner. So yeah, so what can we expect from you guys? What do you guys sound like? And he said, root. I said, what? Sorry, root. So root. He says, yeah, root, as in suck my roots. and I guess that is what they sounded like. I don't know, but there you go.
Well, any more on your list, Barry?
I think the only one I wanted to mention was a band called The Royal They, American band who I put on in Bristol a couple of years ago and helped them sort of source some other shows while they were over. And they're still sort of at it, and I think they've got a new album in the works. But yeah, they are definitely a band that I think more people should love. 3-piece, 2 guitars, no bass, really big songs, and a couple of really spectacular uses of the C-bomb in just sprinkled into songs in a really just wonderful way.
Awesome. Any other honourable mentions?
Yeah, I was. I thought somebody else might have mentioned them. I was going to mention Kubrick, and I had a wicked time playing with Kubrick. They were really good. I think one of the reasons I wanted to mention them was it's one of the things that, for me, Rich Gombolt's previous band Midget were a really big deal for me when I was about 19, 20. Or something like that.
We both loved Midget. There was in the years before LSB.
Yeah, and so the idea that then we were going out on tour with his new band was a proper kind of no way, tell your younger self kind of moment for me and G, and we had some wicked times with them.
Lovely fellas again.
Yes.
Can I throw one more last thing in my listenings to try and remember my way through prepping for this? I did end up listening to the Ingerica album because we played their final show, and although we only played with them once, they were brill. We had a lot of fun, especially hanging out with Mike, their bassist, and it did. That was one of the messiest after show nights I can remember us or not remember us having.
Yeah.
And it prompted me after I listened to their record, which sounds amazing, and I would fully recommend a rip through, but it reminded me to go on to listen to Baddies, which was Mike's band after Ingerica.
Yes.
And they had one song, which was the first Baddies song I heard, and I remembered it as being a song that I was obsessed with for a while because it was just so ripping. And I checked it out, and it is still fantastic, and it's called Tiffany, I'm Sorry by Baddies. I would say go and listen to that song. It's wicked.
It is. I think that's a great note to end on. I did have Engerica in my notes as well, so glad you mentioned them, G. Well done. Brilliant. Let's wrap this all up then.
We'll sing sayonara. We'll sing sayonara.
All right. What have we all got coming up? Barry, you're our guest, so I'll start with you. Feel free to plug away.
Thank you. So 28th of June, we're playing in Bristol. Well, I'm playing in Bristol with Pretend Friends.
Yay!
And that is going to be super fun. It's part of the Youth Anthems series of gigs, which are Sunday afternoon, all ages, family friendly. People who want to bring kids to gigs can bring kids to gigs. Under 16s go free with an adult. So they're really fun. Yeah, lots of fun gigs. I usually print off some of the logos for the thing and bring some crayons for them to, if they don't like the bands, they just sit there furiously colouring in.
Nice.
Those are really sweet. And then later in the year, doing some Oxygen Thief shows with G. So we've got the 20th anniversary gig in September in Bristol, and then the 16th of October heading up to Huddersfield, and the 17th we're playing at a thing called One for the Road, which is a kind of weekender festival in York, which is always super fun. So I'm looking forward to playing that with the guys.
How's this?
It'll be exciting to get back on the road.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good being busy,
We've been busy in secret for a while, haven't we? And it's going to be nice to actually, get out. We've done one proper show now.
Yep.
To get out and start, working a full setup and going out and causing some trouble. I'm pumped for it.
It's going to be great. Yeah, and the anniversary show, we've got a band called Other Half as the main support, and they're one of my favourite UK bands at the moment. They've just got back off tour with Los Campesinos, playing some quite big places. So I'm really thrilled that they're going to be part of this.
They're wicked.
I think I described them to you, Rye, as being like if Million Dead were fronted by the guy from The Hold Steady, and he was really pissed off.
Yeah. Oh, they're wicked. Really like them.
Great.
Awesome. Have you got anything non-Oxygen Thief or non-Canon? You got going on any gigs you're going to? Anything fun that's happening?
There's a band called Farraquet, don't know how you pronounce them, who are like a post-hardcore thing, who never toured over here, and they've kind of reformed and doing a bunch of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to going and seeing them. They're doing a show at the Lexington, and then they've added a second date and upgraded that to the Dome. So the Lexington sold out, but the Dome show is still available. So I'll send you their record, Rich, because I think you'd like them.
Awesome. Right, you got anything?
The gig that Barry talked about is the next Pretend Friends gig. We are trying to get our heads down and work through a few new tracks. We're almost probably got next record finished, and then we need to think about how and where. Do you know what? I was just thinking, I don't think I've got any gigs in the next few months. One or two in August, including some festivals, but we'll cover them the other time, I guess.
When are we going to see Life of Agony?
Yeah, that's second week of August, is it? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Rich, you got anything fun happening?
My latest project is I am getting into legendary post-punk band The Fall, which has come out of absolute nowhere. I always assumed that I'd hate. I was watching an old festival set, and I actually thought they're great. So I have got 33 studio albums to work through. I think I'm on to about third or fourth.
How are you doing that? Are you just like, are you looking at something of like, where should some fan that's gone, I recommend this order, or are you just going
through
A
all.
to Z?
Well, starting from the start?
Yep.
When did they start? Are they like in the 80s?
76 they started.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I could recommend a few things, but I think I'm not going to do that. I'm still finding my way, but I'm amused and bemused by how much I'm enjoying them and just
Nice.
learning more and more about Marky Smith. So aside from that little project, not too many gigs coming up. I've got American football at the end of June.
Nice.
And yeah, that's me.
G, anything over the next few weeks?
In the near future, at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'm going to be recording my first ever official bass line. So I can't see further than that at the moment. We've just the last thing today, we finished setting up the sound, so we're good to go. Press record, make some noise.
All right, let's finish there then. Barry, thanks ever so much for joining us.
Yes.
Hope you've had
It's been a
fun.
pleasure. Yeah, it's been great.
As our guest, we'd be honoured if you chose the LSB track to play us out. What have you gone for?
I've gone for Charge, which was one of the songs that I joined you with as vocalist when G was unwell. And you guys are well aware of the fact that when I was rehearsing that in my flat in Aberystwyth, yelling along the words "burn it down" and kind of sort of testing out my kind of early sort of screamy kind of attempts at doing that, left the house to go off and hand an essay in and saw a policeman outside our front door because the shop 2 doors down had called them because someone was apparently calling for help from the flat above. And I had to explain, no, I wasn't calling for help. I was yelling, "Burn it down."
Yes.
And he popped his head out.
I was singing a song.
Singing. Yeah, he popped his head out to the shop owner and said, "No, he says he was shouting, 'Burn it down.'" She said, "No, I definitely heard, 'Help me, help me.'" So I went up to my room with the police, looked out the window. Was it from here? No, next door up. Go upstairs. Well, that door is locked because my friend was away. So he was all ready to bash the door down. And I said, "Well, could I just phone my friend and say, So I had to call Susie and say, "Can you just explain to this police officer that you're not, So she had to describe her bedroom door with all the postcards and artwork that were on it. And they were happy with that and let me go along my way and hand in an essay on time. But yes,
Brilliant.
that was
Nice.
That was.
I've forgotten that.
Great. Right. This is Charge. We'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
It keeps stealing years of my precious time.